Imagine walking into a grocery store to buy olive oil. You expect the decision to take less than a minute. Then you reach the shelf. 40 different bottles, extra virgin, cold-pressed, organic, imported, Spanish, Italian. Some cost $8, others $40. You begin comparing labels, prices, reviews on your phone, trying to make the best choice. 5 minutes pass, then 10, and somehow the simplest purchase has become exhausting. Eventually, you choose one. You place it in your cart. You walk away. But instead of relief, another thought quietly appears. What if one of the others was better? You haven't made a bad decision. You may have made an excellent one. Yet something still feels unfinished. Having more freedom didn't leave you feeling more free. Because hidden inside modern life is a remarkable paradox. The more choices we have, the harder choosing becomes, and the less satisfied we often feel after we've chosen. Psychologists call this the paradox of choice. Choice feels like freedom. If someone offered you 2 possibilities, or 20, most of us would choose 20. More opportunity, more control, more chances to find exactly what we want. For most of human history, that assumption made perfect sense. More food, more safety, more opportunity. So we inherited a simple belief. More choice must create more happiness. But the modern world has changed far faster than the human mind. Today, we don't choose between 2 restaurants. We choose between hundreds. We don't decide what to watch. We scroll through thousands of possibilities. We don't compare 2 pairs of shoes. We compare hundreds. Reviews, recommendations, ratings, algorithms, all promising to help us choose perfectly. And something unexpected happens. Every new option creates another comparison, another possibility, another future that quietly disappears the moment we decide. The question slowly changes. No longer, which one do I want? Instead, which one am I giving up? Choice has expanded, but so has uncertainty. And if more choice really creates more happiness, why do so many of our decisions leave us feeling less certain after we've made them? In the year 2000, psychologists Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper set up a simple display inside an ordinary grocery store. On some days, customers passed a table offering 6 flavors of gourmet jam. On other days, there were 24. The larger display did exactly what everyone expected. People stopped, they looked, they sampled, they talked. More choices captured more attention. But when customers reached for their wallets, something unexpected happened. The smaller display dramatically outperformed the larger one. People offered only 6 choices were far more likely to make one. Think about that. 24 choices created curiosity. 6 choices created commitment. The larger display didn't reduce interest, it reduced action. Because every decision requires 2 things: choosing one possibility and letting go of the others. Imagine choosing between two vacation destinations. You compare them. You decide. The process feels manageable. Now imagine choosing between 50 different places, different hotels, different prices, different reviews, different experiences. The difficulty doesn't simply increase, it multiplies. Every new option must now compete with every other option. Your mind is no longer making one decision. It is quietly performing hundreds, sometimes thousands of comparisons. Every comparison asks the same question: could this one be just a little better? And because there is always one more possibility, certainty becomes harder to find. Something subtle happens after we finally decide. The alternatives don't disappear. They remain inside imagination. The vacation we didn't book, the job we didn't accept, the home we didn't buy. Every decision creates invisible futures, and imagination has a remarkable advantage. It never has to confront reality. The vacation we never took never rains. The job we never accepted never has difficult days. The house we never bought never needs repairs. Reality always contains imperfections. Imagined alternatives rarely do. The more options we have, the more perfect alternatives our minds can create, and the more difficult it becomes to feel completely satisfied with the choice we actually made. If 6 jars of jam can change how easily people decide, what happens when nearly every decision in modern life offers hundreds of possibilities? Our ancestors rarely faced this problem. Most choices were limited, often made by circumstance. Today, before you've even finished breakfast, you may have made dozens of decisions. What to wear, what to eat, which messages to answer, which route to take. By the end of the day, that number may reach hundreds. Streaming services offer thousands of films. Restaurants serve endless menus. Online stores never seem to end. Career paths, homes, phones, retirement plans. Every category invites us to keep comparing, to keep searching, to keep wondering whether something better is still waiting. At first, the search feels empowering. Then it quietly becomes exhausting. Because eventually, every additional comparison teaches us a little less, while asking us to carry a little more uncertainty. Sometimes the heaviest burden isn't having too few choices. It's believing we must evaluate every one of them. Psychologists have noticed that people tend to approach important decisions in different ways. Some people keep searching for the absolute best, the perfect neighborhood, the perfect investment, the perfect vacation, the perfect career. They compare, research, compare again, and even after deciding, they continue wondering whether something better was still out there. Psychologists call them maximizers, not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're trying to maximize every decision. Others approach choice differently. They look carefully. They ask thoughtful questions. They choose deliberately. And when they find something that truly meets their needs, they stop searching. Psychologists call them satisficers. The word sounds almost unremarkable, but the idea is quietly profound. Satisfaction doesn't come from finding perfection. It comes from recognizing when something is already good enough. Think about the people you love most, your closest friends, your family, the place you call home. None of those became meaningful because you spent years comparing them to every possible alternative. They became meaningful because you stayed, because you invested, because you gave them your attention, your time, your care. The deepest parts of life rarely grow from endless comparison. They grow from commitment. The next time you find yourself standing in front of dozens of nearly identical choices, pause for just a moment. Ask yourself whether you're still learning or whether you're simply postponing the decision. Because there comes a moment when one more review, one more recommendation, one more comparison no longer brings clarity. It simply delays the life waiting on the other side of choosing. The perfect choice almost never exists. And even if it did, you could never know with certainty that you had found it. But something else does exist. A thoughtful choice, made with care, then lived wholeheartedly. The paradox of choice is not that freedom is dangerous. Freedom is one of life's greatest gifts. The paradox is that freedom reaches its fullest expression, not when every possibility remains open, but when we finally choose and allow ourselves to begin living. Sometimes the greatest freedom isn't found in having more options. It's found the moment you stop searching and start living.